So I'm also using my iPad for the first time. So everything is kind of new technologically, and we'll see how much fun we can have together here today. The first thing I would definitely like to say is I just came from Geneva, where I was a guest speaker at the International Telecommunications Union Congress that they had there. And I highly recommend this document to all of you. This is put out by the World Health Organization. It's called Global Observatory for eHealth Series, Volume 3. And the main title here says mHealth, New Horizons for Health Through Mobile Technologies. This is an extraordinarily information-packed document if you want to know what's going on around the world in mobile health. So I recommend it quite highly. I am, as you've heard, I'm an author. I'm a former filmmaker, a producer. I'm a thinker. And I've been thinking about mobile since 2003. And what was an offhand comment from a friend of mine about, gee, mobile really seems to be making a big change socially and to people's behavior, turned into much deeper thinking on my part. And I came to the conclusion that we have psychology, we have sociology, we have anthropology. We need mobileology, which, as far as I'm concerned, is looking at the effect of mobile phone use on behavior, community, culture, entertainment, education, economics, and healthcare. Now, one of the reasons that I love talking about healthcare is that I look at it from the patient's point of view. And we've talked an awful lot today about data, we've talked about metrics, we've talked about systems and technologies, but I am the classic patient that everybody has been talking about today. If I really paid attention, I would, be dead right now, because I have multiple long-term chronic diseases. I have a health insurance company that is dropping me, and another health insurance company that's here that laughed at me and said they wouldn't take me on because I'm too much of a liability, I cost too much. And I think it's important while we're talking about mobile health, telehealth, mobile telehealth, it's all the same. Mobiles are like the fire ants of technology. They're just going to take over everything. So if you're involved in any kind of telehealth right now and you don't include a mobile handset type component, you're probably not going to be in business 5, 10 years from now. But I want to look at the patient and share with you some thoughts and observations that I have about who the patient is and how their behavior changes or is impacted by mobile, how their community is affected by mobile, how they form communities, how they maintain communities. And I want to talk to you about culture. So I'm just going to refer a little bit here so that I don't forget too much. But we did hear something really interesting earlier today about patients. And you can't manage anything if the patient doesn't participate in the process. So the challenge for everybody, I mean, nothing that we've heard about is worth anything if you can't get the patient to pick up the phone or the necklace or whatever it is and interact with it. So let me just ask, how many people in this room are physicians? Slow to raise. Okay, are any of you on active call right now with patients in the hospital? No? Okay. I would like people don't want to part with their phones. Okay? This is part of mobileology. So when you don't want to put your phone down, or if you do, you put it face up because you still want to be able to see if something is happening. It's this sense of connectivity. All of us in this room have a high sense of connectivity. That's why we're here. That we want to speak to more people and learn more things. But the patients that we want to reach may be illiterate. Now, how do you get an illiterate population to pick up a device and interact with it for high-tech purposes? How much training is involved to go into that community and explain the benefit of why they should do this? I'm not even going to go into the cost of that for right now. You have all probably started to form or are forming new social, professional relationships with people based on your mobiles. Yes, you're part of different societies, you know how to contact each other. In the country of Ghana, there are 2,000 physicians for 24 million patients. There was a very novel program that was a collaboration between the doctors in Ghana, New York University, an NGO in the United States, and a telco in Ghana. What they did is they got together and they gave SIM cards free to all the doctors so that all the doctors in Ghana could be connected to each other and form a network for the first time. Telco did this for free because they understood the long-term benefits down the road of the increase in business between talking to the patients and doing, all of the other things. And now you've got doctors that are able to communicate with each other, find each other, confer, refer, do everything that networking is supposed to do. They've made it work on the doctor's end. They've taken the same program into Liberia, and now they're starting to make inroads into Kenya. So this is about mobileology and social. It applies to doctors. It applies to people who are patients. If you want a real good example of how mobile affects community, the formation of communities, look at Facebook. Look at Facebook, look at the revolution in Egypt, look at, any number of, look at the disaster recovery in Japan. So we all know that mobile can work in many wonderful ways, amazing ways, revolutionary ways to connect people. We have to figure out how to get patients to buy in to the idea that they're not going to see a doctor. They're going to see an image on a screen. Maybe they've never seen a television before. Maybe they've never had two-way radio communication. We know that landlines have been leapfrogged. They just don't exist in many rural places in Africa, in India, in China. So people are getting mobile phones, and they're being expected by sophisticated people to be using them in sophisticated ways, but they're not necessarily prepared for this yet. One of the best ways to get buy-in from a community is to be able to reach the entire community at once. So this is something I offer you to think about. Like many other people who have stood on these various stages today, I don't have answers to these questions, but my goal is to prod all of you to think about this so that when you walk out of here, you have an enhanced appreciation of what this entire ecosystem is about. I would like to also talk about culture. culture, I mean, for as many different people as we have in this room, we have that many different cultures and belief systems that are operating. In terms of healthcare, there are cultural barriers to actually using telemedicine. One of them is in highly religious communities. You want to be able to reach patients that live within highly religious communities. You need to think about the fact that you are going to have gender-specific physicians for your patients, because women will not be seen, whether it's in person or electronically, by male physicians. And I really doubt anybody is going to want to have a prostate exam by them. So these are things as healthcare providers you need to think about as part of the planning for how to be effective and how to reach your target market, which is patients. You really can't predict in terms of behavior what's going to work, what's not going to work. In a lot of the literature where there has been information for family planning or communicable diseases, it's men that have actually responded more than women, and it's been a surprise to people. So it's good to keep one's mind open to the fact that what you expect is going to happen very well may not. There's been much reported on the implementation of various mobile health initiatives, but little information to say whether or not they have produced remarkable and long-lasting behavioral changes. So we're talking about chronic diseases, we're talking about wellness, but we don't know if some of the programs that are being put out there are really fostering long-term positive change. And the literature currently does not address the behavior of patients with the same problems. In other words, support groups. Now, all you have to know is that there's a pink ribbon, and that pink ribbon stands for breast cancer awareness, breast cancer research. This is a huge support group. We don't know if the quest for support through peer discussion is going to migrate over into mobile. And if it does, we don't know yet how to structure it, how to suggest structure for it, or if it should just be something that forms organically. But there is something very interesting for physicians and healthcare providers to know about support groups, and that is that when you have people who have rare or unusual disorders, support groups provide not only emotional support, but they provide anecdotal evidence of what works, what doesn't work. You can have people in different parts of the country who will connect with each other via mobile if this turns out to be the trend. They can identify which doctors are helping them, so that even the doctors and the healthcare providers then find out, oh, here's a peer with whom I can confer on a patient. And you almost get a fast-track way of getting much more information than you would have as an isolated provider. So something to think about. Please conclude in 2 minutes. Okay. By culture. If a culture believes that pain is to be endured, life is hard, and pain is to be endured, then how can you use mobile to engage your patients earlier? By engaging your patients earlier, you don't see late-end disease. But you have to find a way to make it exciting or interesting or break down that barrier to them. So instead of going through a lot of other things, one other thing, if a culture permits sexual abuse and domestic violence, how do you get mobile mobile phones to at-risk populations where their abuser can find out whether they've used a phone, when they've used a phone, who they called. These are big problems, and some of these people that are at risk are refugee populations around the world. So, you know, brain teasers for all of us. The point here is that healthcare providers need to think beyond statistical analyses and reflect upon who their patients are and what influences drive them to act, react, and abstain from using mobile technology. We used to talk about a doctor's bedside manner. I guess now we're going to have to start talking about a doctor's mobile telehealth manner. But medicine is an art as well as a science. I come from a family of doctors, and I've gone to a lot of doctors. And I think we all know there's a lot to be said for the power of touch as a healing aid. How can we convey touch, reassurance, I'm with you, without actually touching somebody? I think this is a challenge for all of us. And finally, you know, I think we're at the beginning, maybe a little past the beginning, but I look at all of you in this room as pioneers, and I look at all of you as innovators, because now each of us has the power to actually create applications and devices or talk to people who can do that with us. So think about how you can reach your patients. Think about how you can get them involved early on in the process, because without the patients, you can talk about the economics, you can talk about anything else, but you won't have medicine. So I thank you, and I have lots more to say about mobilology, but